picture on my phone that could not be more irrelevant or unflattering. This was back when I would wear liquid eyeliner and blue eyeshadow that would smear terribly because I refused then and refuse now to put a penny towards setting spray. Like most people, I'll go through my photos and delete old memes to declutter my phone. I don't have many photos of myself on my phone because 99% of the time, if a photo exists of me, someone else took it. But this atrocious selfie I keep around just for the memory. October 26, 2016, a Wednesday, 6:32 p.m. says the photo's metadata. That can't be right, but that's what it says. I'm in a nightclub and the music is always blaringly loud in the setting, but you can always get some type of point across if you put your mouth to someone's ear and scream at the top of your lungs. Not this time though. No, it was way too loud and the nightclub was impenetrable with its density of bodies. My own sweat wouldn't evaporate. No room for even a single other molecule to exist, taking up more volume in its gaseous form. A girl asked me to dance. While we do, ask me my name. I can't hear her, of course. I just read her lips and understand from the motions. I say my name, but obviously she can't hear. Then I scream my name and she can't hear. And then I scream it really loud by her ear and she responds, "Peach?" I do hear that. I nod my head violently. No! I heard her because the music switched and the opening verse wasn't yet at the deafening beat drop. But by the time I repeated my name, nothing was audible again. She shrugs and says, "I'm just gonna call you Peach. I like that name. Peach." I love that. I love that she picked this random name that she thought she heard, and she thought about it, and she liked it. Her expression was so pure. I don't remember anything else about that night, who I was with, what time I left, why I was there, and I wouldn't have remembered this exchange at all had I not run across it many times while scrolling and remembered, oh, Peach Girl. See, I never asked her her name, so I also call her Peach. Peach Girl. So it's just that exchange, and her tattoo of a lion, and that I wore my black leather backpack that I loved dearly at the time because Payless has never disappointed me aside from filing for bankruptcy. That's my only recollection of an evening that probably had hours and hours of sights and experiences. June 2014, my first ever interview. I had been interviewed before, but not for an internship. In retrospect, young Kiki was put together. Apparently, my only preparation for this interview for an art gallery internship was memorizing art puns. Plus, I'm prepared for anything. Art puns, I Van Gogh them. I wrote, "If it ain't Baroque, don't fix it." Just before that, I was at a restaurant with my friends, killing some time before the interview. I have no context for why I wrote this down. I didn't state who said what or why, but I remember who I was with, and I can just hear it in my friend's voice. So I assume I was talking to her. I must have said something about Vespas looking ridiculous, to which my friend replied, "Are you insulting Italians right now?" And I said, "Well, if Italians ride Vespas, then yes." And somehow the conclusion of the conversation was that I wanted a pickup truck. I remember enjoying my interview, getting the internship, working there that summer, and being exposed to my first truly noteworthy story, after which there would be dozens. Tanya. God blessed Tanya with two gifts: the year she was born and her gender. Were Tanya to be a man behaving like that at virtually any other time period, we wouldn't be seeing Brett Kavanaugh on the news. We'd be seeing Tanya. I loved Tanya because she was exactly who I wanted to be like, minus sexual harassment of employees, a bitter divorce, and financial instability. I love that she cried at work. I love that her kids called her by her first name. And that when her 8th grade daughter showed her outfits she bought in American Apparel, she was too supportive. That's very sexy. I love it. But that her daughter didn't seem embarrassed of her mom. I was asked to give my input too and agreed the outfits were perfect. I love that Tanya did and said whatever she wanted and was unapologetically herself. this view of the art market as being always profitable. Sure, there was the ubiquitous starving artist, but investing in art, the galleries, the museums, they were immune to market volatility. They housed our aesthetic treasures. I loved how Tanya had me get a painting from a dark, crammed basement that I was worried about being in for even a few minutes. It smelled obviously of mold, and my thoughts at the time were that I should find this painting as fast as humanly possible, so that I wasn't breathing in mold and asbestos for too long. I love that Tanya showed me a mattress on the floor of this basement, where she would be sleeping until she could sell her Picasso, or some other highly priced work. From a penthouse apartment to an unlit basement in Chinatown. She called it her dark dungeon. I love that she would read us, me and the gallery manager, her erotic emails between herself and someone I called Jungle Boy, because I never found out his name, just that he lived in the jungle. I thought this was a metaphor for a really long time, until I realized this metaphor had extended for way too long, and that this lover boy actually lived in the jungle. She's certainly forgotten me, never kept in touch. But I loved her when she complained about the lack of a market for her copious amounts of penis paintings. I loved the way she described her own sister. She was so drunk and stoned that her eyeballs, you could only see white. Love that she offhandedly mentioned giving blowjobs with honey, not to me, but at a decibel range that ensured I could hear. Tanya was the least professional adult alive, and yet was thriving. She made it, and she made it in New York. And aside from crying periodically at her desk, she was happy. I don't see this anymore. I don't know anyone else like her, but at least she briefly existed in my life to show me it was possible. I saw a woman trying really hard not to cry on the train once. As soon as a tear formed, she immediately wiped it away, turning her head from people. The image is ingrained in my head, even though I can't remember a single person who has openly cried in public. Oh girl, not Tanya. Not her. I loved her friends, all of whom seemed to have profound quotes like, "Life is a series of problems interrupted by tragedies." And I loved that her last and final words to me one evening when I was departing homebound were, "Don't move to North Carolina." Subsequently, I would meet two other very strange Tanyas. And to this day, the day I made Tanya genuinely laugh is one I'll never forget. Not because I'm particularly funny, just because her laugh was so absorbing. And I loved it. And I'll never hear a laugh like that again. I don't remember the full exchange, but she said something like, "You're very put together, composed, on top of it. Why don't you give me some of that put-togetherness?" Instinctively, I responded by thrashing my arms forward as though put-togetherness is an energy you can give forth, and I made a swoosh sound as though put-togetherness has a sound when it's sent away. And I sent it off to her. I sent her my put-togetherness. Because I forgot for a moment that this was my boss and not my friend. And to that, she turned from her screen for the first time all day, laughed out loud, and with the biggest smile said, "Thank you, Kiki." And she may not have seen it, but after weeks of only hearing her curse, bang tables, use variations of "I'm pissed," and give too many details on her personal life, a slow smile crept onto my own face and stayed there as I wrote an email for her, offering Michael Allen paintings to some woman named Kathy Batista. Subsequently, I would meet 2 other very strange Tanyas, all with different spellings of their names. Tanya number 1 surely outdid them all, but I'm waiting to meet a normal Tanya. The rule of 3, the writing principle that suggests that a trio of events or characters is somehow more humorous, more effective than other numbers. And it's true. It's true not just in writing, but it's true for Tanyas. The 3 little pigs, and the 3 musketeers, and the 3 wishes that genies give people, and the 3 STDs you have to get before you learn your lesson, and Goldilocks and the 3 bears, and the fact that Snow White's stepmother appears to her 3 times before she's able to poison her. These stories have all been written. I'm just here to tell you a different rule of 3. You're gonna meet 3 weird Tanyas in your lifetime, but I've met them first, so I'm warning you.